Welcome to Freed on Business. He grew up in South Florida, has been in business here since the early 90s, and has closed over $3 billion in deals. He's seen it all. He always has an opinion, and he's always ready to share it. Informed, entertaining, and connected, he has his finger on the pulse of South Florida's business community. He's Jim Freed, and this is Freed on Business.
Oh, I was doing my post there. You caught me. All right. I want to thank everybody for joining us on another edition of Freed on Business. It's going to be a tremendous show. This show is all about giving love and kindness to the people who need it most in our community and providing guidance to those who really could use some. For many, many years, I've been working with the Education Fund. I got the Education Fund Award for Public School Achievement about 5 years ago with people like Neeson Kasdan and Billy Corbin my year. We had a great class. Billy's funny and Neeson's even funnier sometimes. But we raise a lot of money for the public schools to do all kinds of things. We're going to talk with Marilyn here in a minute from the Education Fund. But before we get started, another group of people that do wonderful things for our community is our sponsor for over a decade, Warren Henry Auto. I want to thank Larry, Warren, Eric, Ismet, Gio, Jack, the whole team over there. What they do for our community is tremendous. The list of community involvement projects that they have is long. You go to their website, you can see it. I'm proud to be a brand ambassador for them and to work with them on some of their initiatives. If you're looking to buy or lease a car, you know where you go. You go to Warren Henry, you get treated like family. It's tremendous. And again, I want to thank them for sponsoring us for over a decade. Mr. Mendoza, let's bring on Marilyn. Where is she? There she is, Marilyn Mamet. She's a sponsorship director for the Education Fund. I won the award. Oh, hold on.
He's going to go get it.
Yeah, I forgot to do this earlier. I won the award a while back. That's me with a fatter face. I've lost like 30 pounds since then.
I love it.
But there it is right there. I'm very proud of that. It's my favorite award that I've won. And I want to thank you for that. I've had many tremendous experiences presenting in the schools at a variety of different levels, everything from elementary school to senior high to special ed, special needs. It's been a wonderful, wonderful thing for me, and I encourage everybody to get involved with it. There'll be links in the podcast. We'll talk about everything. But Marilyn, tell me, how long has the Education Fund been around? About how much has it raised? And what are we looking to do this year?
So, the Education Fund has been around for over 30 years. We work very closely with the Miami-Dade County Public School System, but we are a separate entity. And basically, our mission is to provide students every opportunity for success, to make sure that they're graduating with the tools that they need for success. And as you can imagine, that's an ongoing challenge that will be around forever. So, we expect to be around for many years to come. And we've raised over $80 million towards public schools to date.
Well, I'm proud to be a part of that. What do you use some of the money for, Marilyn?
So, we have multiple programs to try to meet our mission. We have food forests for the schools. Like, those are basically outdoor eco labs that we've created in 30 of our elementary schools. Kids are learning about math and science, not just by having a teacher write on a chalkboard. Kids are touching, feeling, counting with leaves and measuring. It's an amazing program. If you ever have a chance, Jim, I don't know if you've had a chance to go to one of our food forest schools so you can see a lesson in action. It's incredible. Kids are also learning how to take care of the environment and healthy eating. They harvest the foods that grow in the food gardens because almost everything in there is edible, and they're superfoods. And they're used in their school cafeterias, and they also take it home with recipes so that the whole family can learn healthier eating habits. We have our Ideas with Impact program, where we give grants and professional development to teachers so that they can implement hands-on engaging lessons for the kids. We have our Super important Ocean Bank Center for educational materials. We give free school supplies to all Miami-Dade County public school teachers. As you can imagine, with everything so expensive now, it's a huge need. Before COVID, we would give away about $1 million worth of free supplies every year. Since COVID, it's now over $3 million. So there's a huge need there. And then our Smart Path program is in our 5 most underserved areas. Usually first generation students that are, we teach them, okay, what next? What comes next after high school? We take them on college trips. We teach them about potential technical, technical fields that they can go into. And then, of course, we have our Teach-a-thon, which is the program that you were mentioning, which is where we have our business professionals, our successful people like you that go into the classrooms to share their knowledge with our students.
Well, I really believe it's important to give back and to mentor. Here's my water thing from the University of Florida Center for Real Estate Studies, where I mentor lots of folks. And actually, a number of the young people that I've mentored have now matriculated and joined me on the board, which means they're extremely successful. And I'm very proud of that. I believe I may have seen one of your food gardens, but I'm not sure. I taught last year at the Rennick Special Needs School. I know they have a garden in the back. I don't know if it's one of your official gardens or not. I'd certainly encourage you to check that out. I'll talk more about that when we talk about my experience in the schools. I can only say that that every single one of my experiences, from teaching live in the high schools to bringing in a special guest to the elementary schools that the teacher didn't know how to access, to really watching the special needs kids break down their barriers and show me kindness and love, which I have that photo on my podcast promote today. They were so lovely. They painted a welcome Jim sign. But we'll talk about more of that in the second half after break, as I talk about my experiences. So Marilyn, how do you identify winners of the award I got? How do people get involved? And how can we create more outreach for this very wonderful program? And I think it's important to note, you mentioned the Ocean Bank school supply. I think anybody who knows a teacher knows that the teacher spends their own money on this stuff. I know that at Rennick, the woman that's been the teacher there spends her own money on food. A lot of these students live either in food deserts or with parents that don't know how to create a healthy environment for them on a food basis. And I think that it all starts with the stomach. And that's an extraordinarily important thing. What are some of the ways that you help people get involved? We mentioned that there's the opportunity to teach in the schools. What if somebody can't give up a whole day or a half a day to do that?
So this year, actually, if let's say, Jim, you'll be teaching. If the person can't go to a classroom and teach, even though we make it so easy. I mean, during the Teach-a-thon program, if the person doesn't feel comfortable or doesn't have a lesson that they can teach to the children, the teacher will provide a lesson to you. We make it as easy as possible. But if they still aren't able to do that, they can help the person that is teaching, like you, fundraise. They can kind of forward on your link for fundraising and share it with their contacts. So that's a way. And what happens with the fundraising portion is that those funds are divided equally amongst all the classrooms that participate. And again, those teachers, we always get feedback. They're spending the funds on supplies they need for the classroom. The kids nowadays, in order to learn in the best way possible, they need technology. They want those 3D printers. They need those types of things to continue to keep those kids engaged. And so they use those funds for those purposes. Sometimes they use it to take the kids on a field trip, etc. So that's a way that they can get engaged. They could also volunteer. We'll have, especially now, there's back to school that just happened. We need help sorting school supplies. They could even help, like at their offices, do a food back to school drive. I mean, this year, going back to the back to school, since school just started a couple of weeks ago, our warehouse, I mean, teachers, it's the busiest time of the year, and our warehouse had very low inventory, and it's something that we heard across the state from our, other education funds from other counties. So school supply drive is a huge way that they can make an impact and help the students. They can help by going, if they're interested in going into a smart path school and sharing about their career and what they can other options for kids once they graduate. That's also a way that they can support during Give Miami-Dade, which is the third Thursday in November. They can donate and help us continue with the programs that we offer.
If you could put together a little list of that with some links, I'd be more than happy to circulate that on an e-blast that follows up the podcast. Maybe on, Friday this week would be a tough one, but maybe next Friday on an In Case You Missed It for a Flashback Friday, here's ways to help our kids. I'd be more than happy to do that. In fact, I would hope that you'd be able to help me with that.
Perfect. Of course. I would love to do that.
This makes me feel so really good to help all of the young people. I think that I'd like to take an early break because I've got some tremendous stories that I want to share that I think will help motivate and inspire people. Mr. Mendoza, person who's a daddy himself, starting his own in-house education fund. Why don't we take a quick break? We'll thank our friends at Warren Henry. We'll tell people a little bit about what I do, and then we'll come back with Marilyn and the education fund and some stories that literally will make you feel like $1 million no matter what kind of day you're having. Regan Mendoza, did I get it right? Wow, that looked like the supermoon coming up. I want to thank our friends at Warren Henry. Their sponsorship and kindness have kept us. Oh, I got his name right. High five to me. I never get his name right. It's part of the inside joke on the radio show podcast now, I guess. The friends at Warren Henry have been with me since we were a radio show. We've been together for more than a decade. Beyond the great cars that Warren Henry sells, it's what they put into our community that really defines who they are and the type of company they are. Eric Day, Larry Zinn, Warren Zinn, Ismet Yagzi, my friend Jack, Gio, Maytel Stark, all the people there just treat us like gold and like family. And guess what? They treat our community that way too. They've got all kinds of great community initiatives. They raise lots of money. They make the world a better place. And they're just so wonderful to be affiliated with. I'm proud to be one of their brand ambassadors. And whenever you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage as you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne. I'll be up in Gainesville soon at the Audi store. It's a gorgeous store. Great people there too. And down in the Keys, well, they've got a store that sells all the great nameplates. They're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. That's a long list of services that you get. It includes the fact that they'll make sure you're getting a great value on your trade-in. They'll make sure and guarantee you're getting the best price on your new car or your leased car. They'll give you 3 days to decide if you like that car or you can return it. Nobody ever returns them because they're tremendous cars. I've been driving one for over 35 years. So join me, my beautiful wife, Vivian. I love her so much. Every day she gives me another reason to love her. My mom, also a strong, wonderful person in my life. And lots and lots of my friends and clients go to Warren Henry. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. Hi, everybody. I'm Jim Freed. I'm the founder of Sandstone Real Estate Advisory Services. And besides making the world a better place with the education fund, I occasionally do real estate transactions. I'm helping people do reverse mortgages on the residential side, helping them do HELOCs and pull some money out of their houses, to help them with doing all kinds of different things. I've got commercial loans. We're in the process of putting together a high leverage stretch construction loan, probably the last one that may get done for a while here in Coral Gables. We're helping a family office rebalance its equity by helping them leverage something they've got all cash. They'll be paying out some of that money to one of their family members. It helps them make their family relationship better from a financial standpoint. So we do a lot of interesting things. And of course, I've got my blockchain technology that we're helping people do real estate syndication with. So reach out to me. I can help you solve your problems. As the market continues to evolve, you can see right there, I've got the gray hair to prove it. I've been to the movie before. I can help you evaluate the challenges. At certain points, it may be best to just give the property back and get a release of liabilities. In other cases, you may need fresh money to do a cash-in refinance. I can help you with all of that. So reach out to me, DM me, call me. And why would you want to do that? Because as you know, my personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by addressing their problems and giving them peace of mind. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you.
Welcome back to Freed on Business. Connect with us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Jim Freed or at Freed on Business, and on Instagram at Jim Freed1. Now, back to your host, Jim Freed.
You know, there has to be a word for a person that can never get somebody's name right. Whatever that is, that's me. Although I nailed it and got Mr. Mendoza, Mr. Regan Mendoza, got his name right. We're talking to the Education Fund people. We've got Marilyn with us today. She's the director of sponsorships for the Education Fund down here in Miami. Mr. Mendoza, you're slow on the take-up. What's going on? There he is. Marilyn Marnett. She's now, I guess I could say, my old friend. I've been doing this for 5 years. I will do it again. I won the award a while back. Other people that won that year were Neeson Kasdan and Billy Corbin. The rest of the award winners apparently didn't make much of an impression on me that year because I forget.
And Jim, if you know of any successful folks in our that are giving back to our community and making an impact in our community that you'd like to nominate, please always send.
Oh, I never thought of that one.
Yes, if they're, if they have had to have graduated from a Miami-Dade or from a public school, we give preference to Miami-Dade County Public School.
Oh, I know who I'm going to ask.
Oh, great.
I can't say it publicly, though.
Don't
Person
say
says
it.
no. I don't want to embarrass them.
We want it to be.
I know the perfect person. I know Mr. Mendoza knows who I'm going to ask. All right, I just wrote it down. I'm pretty sure this person's going to do it, and if the person does it, well, then I'll do it with them, and we'll rip the cover off the ball. Hopefully, we'll be able to teach civics to high school students. So, in any event, so I've teased it before. Marilyn is going to be sending me a list with links on different ways people can get involved. That's her homework. My job is to do that on a Flashback Friday and get it out to people with beautiful pictures of my experiences. And I'm going to add links to the different Facebook Lives that I've done with this. And let's talk about that for a minute. So the first place that I taught at, well, first I won the award. Whee! Then the next year, they approached me as an award winner or as a nice person, whatever, to teach in the schools. So I said, okay, fine. And I taught at, I think it's Ida Merritt Elementary here in Little Havana. And in this case, the teacher asked me to help her implement a project and a program that they had been working on the entire semester, but she couldn't get them their capstone event. Yeah. Oh, you're kidding, Mr. Mendoza. His daughter goes, oops, I shouldn't have said that. Oops. Well, yeah, so there you go. It was an amazing place. I love the place. And it's a charter. It's like some kind of special school, isn't it, Mr. Mendoza? Anyway, so the teacher asked me, they were doing an entire semester, blew my mind, on the Holocaust. That wasn't me. That was Marlene. That was her thing. So it's a magnet school. Okay, like I guess that means a lot of kids get attracted to it. Anyway, so they wanted to do they wanted me to get them a Holocaust survivor. They didn't know who to call. One phone call, boom.
Yeah.
We got them a gentleman that he didn't have a tattoo, which I found to be interesting because he had never been sent to the camps. Instead, he was in hiding in like Hungary. It was an amazing story. You can go to my Facebook thing from like 5 years ago, and you can hear him make his presentation. I'll go find it and I'll put it in the string. That was amazing. Next year, COVID. So I was stuck at home, didn't know what to do, and I did like an entire day of AP social studies. And one of the students actually came and found me, and we met with their parents, and I encouraged them to get involved in city government. I think I had just at the time finished running for city commission. So that was the second one. And I taught all day at Coral Gables High, a variety of age groups, but I think they were all AP civics. Oh, it was so great. Oh, and I think I forgot until just now. I think I also taught during COVID a special needs class, and I got to find this. You got to remind me, Marilyn. They actually asked me to dance with them at the end of the class, and I did. It was so wonderful. They were doing the, this is where I fall short. I can't remember who it is.
I think that was Coral Park. Was it Coral Park Senior High? Maybe.
I think it might have been. And we danced to that La Vida song from in Spanish. And I'm such a gringo that it was really funny. And the young lady asked if I would dance with her at the end. And I said yes. And I would say it's my most tender, wonderful moment, but I've had more. And I got out of order. So before COVID, I taught at the senior high of Norland, Miami-Norland Senior High, up by the football stadium formerly known as Joe Robbie. And that tells you how old I am. And it was marvelous. And so I taught the class, and then we went around the room a couple times. And there was the quiet young lady who never talks. There was the big football player who I asked him, what does the coach say when the guy in front of you that's not going to play in the NFL gets knocked on his butt? He says, I should go over there, pick him up and say, nice play, we'll get him the next time. I thought that was tremendous. Then we got to the young lady who never talks and is always on her phone. And I asked her what she learned that day. And all the students started talking over her to try to let her off the hook. And I said, no, let her answer. And her answer was that she learned that if she surrounds herself with people that believe in her, that she will be able to achieve her goals. I said, go back on the phone. You don't need to learn anything else. So that was Norland, Miami-Norland. So we did Norland, Ida Merritt, Coral Park, you said, Coral Gables. And then last year, or maybe I'm forgetting one. Last year, I taught at the Rennick Special Ed facility. And I went there in person. And I got to tell you, I want every single person I know to go there. When I walked in, one of the students was having an episode. We'll leave it at that. And the person that was my escort came up to me, the teacher, and said, are you sure you still want to go in? I said, I want to go in more now. She goes, well, most people don't even go in once they get to the front desk, and no one comes back after they've gone into the back. I said, I'm going in the back. Place was like a prison for children. Broke my heart. I met the teacher who'd been teaching the same group of kids, I think since they were little teeny kids. They're all older now. She teaches them how to grow food. They're all foster kids. None of them have food security. They were terrified of me. I guarantee you that the kids that picked me up at the front desk, if you had met them outside of the environment, you would have had a stereotypical response to them. By the time I was done, I was hugging and kissing them, and they were begging me to come back. You can go on my LinkedIn feed and see the pictures. They made the most beautiful welcome sign. They say thank you. They stay in touch with me. It's the most heartwarming thing, perhaps, that I've ever done in my life. So I'm still working hard. Rennick was, I can't give the backstory on that because it's a little private mitzvah that I'm trying to do. I've been working on it for a year. I'll get it done eventually. So the point is, each one of the experiences was a life-defining experience. Each one of the experiences was completely different and with a completely different demographic and genre. I can
Absolutely.
only say that this is the most wonderful thing that I do, and I do a lot of good things, but this here is the most wonderful thing that I do. And if I can touch just one of those kids and help them feel, I'm going to say it about the people at Rennick, normal, mainstream. I don't know what the right term to use because I'm not that PC all the time, but and that teacher, she's a goddess. You can see her picture on my feed also. They all sign a document that says you can use them in publicizing the education fund. So I know I didn't violate their stuff. They're the most amazing people in the planet. I can't tell you how important this is for our community. We don't do politics, but anybody who watches the news knows that there's money flowing out like a river from the public education funds. And if you were educated in the public schools and you've had a chance to matriculate to the top like I have, you are required to give back at this point. You are required to get involved. And if you don't think that the public schools are good enough or appropriate or whatever your objection is, get involved and change it and make a difference. There's many ways to do it. I ran for city commission. That has nothing to do with schools. I'm not running for county anything, so I'm never going to be in charge of anything having to do with no school, but none of that. But I will go and I will reach out and I will make at least one young person feel extra special this year. And if I do that, I think I'm way ahead of the game. And Marilyn, back to you.
Well, I mean, Jim, that was just incredible. I have to say, I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, stories, real life stories like that, I mean, really drive home how important the Education Funds Teach-a-thon is. Some people may think, oh, I'm going in there just to teach a lesson. What, how much of an impact can that have? But you just showed the immense impact that a lesson or just sharing some time with those students can have in their lives. It's just incredible. And just like your stories, I hear it from the other business professionals that participate. You are an extra superstar. You stay there long. Really, we require the business professionals to just be there for one lesson, which is normally an hour or so, but you stay longer and you're just amazing. And thank you so much for supporting the Education Funds Teach-a-thon. I do want to say I also want to thank Wells Fargo. They are incredible and they have supported, they share in your belief and they have supported this program for many years. So I did want to thank them as well. But
send me an email specific to Wells Fargo and let me see if I get some of the real estate people to teach.
Amazing. Thank you.
And my branch people who I love. The Wells Fargo branch people in Coconut Grove are like my family. I love them so much. Yes. I just spoke to Brian earlier today.
They're wonderful. They're a huge supporter of ours. But I mean, I can't imagine after what you just shared that, your listeners wouldn't want to participate. Anyone that wants to participate, there's not just the opportunity to give back to students. We will have a very exciting kickoff where you have the opportunity to network with the other business professionals that participate. Like I said, the teachers there, and we're here to help prepare you. So it will be an easy experience. And it's just such an incredible cause. Not just, the impact that you're making that day, but then the funds that you'll raise to give back to the classroom so that the teachers can, we can help out our teachers because, things are tough.
I want to kind of wrap it up like this. It's, a lot of people go on vacations. Some people can't. They have a staycation. I call that having a mental change of venue. Let me tell you something. You go do this, you have a mental change of venue, and you'll go to the moon. The kids come up to you, and they're just full of love and kindness. And the interesting part is the high school kids, especially. And I forgot one other nuance. When I was at Miami, New Orleans, I taught across the hallway from a guy I went to high school with.
Oh my goodness!
It was really cool. It was really kind of cool. So with that, I want to thank Marilyn and the folks at the Education Fund for all they do for our community. I want to encourage everybody to get involved. I'm going to be, well, this will be produced. We'll get it together. You'll get more stuff going. We'll get more into the education fund thing. And I guess after Labor Day, best that I'll redo this. Is that when the fundraising starts, Marilyn?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So I'll kick off the fundraising after Labor Day. I'll repost this in case you missed it, ICYM or whatever it is. I'll put up some of my experiences. I'll bang on some of the people, and I'm going to call my extra special idea before that. And Marilyn, if you stick in with us after the show right now and stay in the green room,
I will
I'll share who I'm going to ask. All right. So remember, this is Jim Freed for Freed on Business. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. The show's on. We drop a new podcast every Wednesday at noon. I want to thank our sponsors for well over a decade: Warren Henry Automotive, Larry, Warren, Ismit, Eric, all the great people over there. They treat us like family. Remember, if you're looking to buy or lease a car, you want to get every advantage that you can. That's why you have to check out Warren Henry, Land Rover, Range Rover, Infiniti, Jaguar, and Lincoln up at 151st and Biscayne in Gainesville. I'll be up there in a couple of weeks. They sell Audis. I can't wait to go up there. They treat me like family. They treat me like gold. And they always say, you want to buy this $150,000 sports car? I go, yes, but it'll have to be on my next trip. And then in the Keys, they sell all their great nameplates. They're all great cars. They all come with the Warren Henry Advantage. It's a great list of services. It includes the fact that they'll make sure you're getting the best price on your trade-in, that you're getting the best price on your used car, on your new car, your leased car. They'll give you 3 days to return it. Nobody ever does because they're great cars. You become a member of the family. I've been going there for 35 plus years. They treat us like gold. My first was a convertible M30. Oh, it was great. I used to say that was the car that God would drive. And so join me, my beautiful wife, my great mom, lots and lots of my clients and friends. We're all members of the Warren Henry family. You should be too. Always the best price, always the best service, always Warren Henry. And reach out to me, DM me. I'm always here for you. My personal brand is that I self-actualize by helping other people achieve their dreams and goals. I do that by solving problems and bringing them peace of mind. And remember, whenever you call me, it's always all about you. We'll drop the new podcast next Wednesday. FreedomBusiness.com has the 721 episodes that I've done before this. They're all great interviews. It's a tremendous way to feel a part of the community or learn some new things. We'll talk about my blockchain technology there. Let's see, what am I forgetting? Oh, I want to thank our sponsors, Warren Henry and the Bergstrom Center for Real Estate Studies. That's when I'm going to Gainesville. I'm going to see them all in a couple of weeks up at UF. And remember, I do this. I'll be on next Wednesday because I love it. And as always, the close. Remember, the person that wants to do something finds a way. The other finds an excuse. And you learned that today on the show. And you go out there, you make it happen. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.